Ages.
Alrighty then.
Well,
So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Link Up Podcast with your host, Mr. King. No Kana this session, but we got Woods, Kalissa, and Rashid here to make up for it.
Hey.
Sadly, another episode where Kana is missing, but we pushing through and that they all appreciate and enjoy. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be here, like we said last week on that episode. We introduced Kalissa moderator from here on out. We're trying the new system of things. So in that same vein, I'm going to pass on the mic or the whatever it is to Kalissa to introduce us and let y'all know where we're gonna be headed on this episode of the podcast. So Kalissa,
all right. Once again, welcome everybody. Today we will be talking about infidelity, and we're gonna kick off this topic with talking about the differences between men and women, in regards to infidelity. What's take it away?
So my whole argument with this, let's just start with this and then we just see where this conversation goes. Like, I saw a video that really irked me the wrong way, right? Like the whole culture of if a man cheat, like fuck the man up, really rubbed me the wrong way. So I saw a video where there was a bunch of girls looking at like a bunch of different cheating events, and then there was this one girl that cut up a guy's penis and put it in a blender, and they were like,
Whoa.
yeah, he shouldn't be cheating, he should have been doing that. And in my head I was like, that's fucked up, cause if a girl cheat, you don't see, like, I would never go in an argument being like, if a guy cut off a girl tits and put it in a blender and turn that fuck on, I would never be like, yeah, she deserved that because she cheated, dog. Like, that was, like, that whole, I feel like, at least, that there's a little bit of normalization of violence in general. Like, it's not even a women or a man thing of just fucking up somebody because they cheated. I think that's wrong, because like I personally don't believe in fighting in general. So if someone did something wrong, I don't believe, if they didn't hurt you physically, I don't believe in then you doing that and it being justified regardless of what the person did. But that's my opinion. What y'all think?
I agree. I think in part it have to do with gender roles. In part. I completely disagree with it. Obviously, like I don't think anybody should lay hands on anyone. However, I think the reason women get away with it, so to speak, is the same reason why we don't think is wrong when, well, not we, but like a lot of people don't think it's wrong if a woman lay hands on a man, you know? I think it's just odd, and it's kind of normalized in a way. And I think people just desensitized to it to the point where, oh yeah, it's normal, so whatever. Or she just crazy. Or you piss her off. And I don't think people require women to take responsibility for the actions the way they require men to a certain extent. Like I don't think we hold women to the same standards when it comes to cheating. That's my
Richie, do you
opinion.
look like you have some thoughts?
No, she mentioned the crazy part and accountability, and it's like and the normalization of it, right? And something I've also noticed is like this whole idea that, oh, I am crazy, so you should just accept how I react because I am quote unquote crazy, and it's a complete disregard of any type of accountability whatsoever, and an excuse, in my opinion, to throw that term out of like, yeah, I'm crazy, so you should expect this type of reaction from me when you do me wrong, or something like that, And I obviously don't agree with it. I think is an extreme to go do something like that or applaud something like that.
I think it's some of what Kalissa said, but I think the reasoning behind it, it's okay. Well, I can't say necessarily for the physical harm type of thing, but some of what we was mentioning like before recording, like keying cars and stuff like that. I think stuff like that is certainly more applauded and respected. Like at least usually from a woman to a man, like if a woman was cheated on, why it's acceptable and applauded for a woman to retaliate in these type of ways. I think the reason, at least from what I've heard talking to certain people, the reasoning as well, this is the way that I can make you feel what I feel because the cheating is an emotional hurt, and for me to go and cheat on you or something like that is probably emotional way. And we know that generally speaking, men put a lot of, I guess, importance on our things and like money in general, so they hit us financially to kind of equate to the pain that they're feeling. Because yeah,
But
like I said, you're not gonna cheat on your man after he cheat do the same. Like he not gonna feel what you feeling type of thing. So you hit him where it hurts.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like these type of things, like scratching somebody's car or whatever. These things can be fixed with money like that. But even after the thing is fixed with money, your emotions
Yeah,
still
like
damaged. You know, like you can't pay to fix your emotions. It's not an equivalent type of exchange in that regard.
yeah,
But I
like
guess
I
in the
don't.
And
heat of the
that's why
moment, when
I
you
should
feel
have
a
only
certain type
said
of
I'm gonna
way,
throw acid on you, or I'm gonna chop your penis off and put it in a blender because
as extreme.
yeah, I keyed your car or I destroyed the windows in your car or like threw all your clothes out of the house or whatever like type of physical like material type of pain I could inflict on you. But that don't match what I feel inside and the
Yeah,
heartache and shit that I'm dealing with. Therefore, I'm taking it to the next level and I'm gonna do some physical pain. And it's one of those things where women would often take it to the next step or take it to a more drastic thing because in a straight up physical confrontation, man versus woman, woman is unarmed. 9 times out of 10, man is coming out on top. So as a woman, I feel I need that extent of let me poison you while you're sleeping or something, or let me throw hot acid on you, or let me chop off your penis while you're sleeping or something like that. Cause I have a fair chance.
Yo,
yeah,
that's just like I think it's just because I'm a gentle person in general. Like I don't like violence. I hate violence. I don't like hitting people. I don't like seeing people fight. When I see people boxing already, I feel like kind of uncomfortable. But that's just me.
you mean the sport?
Yeah, man, I don't like it. I don't like violence, man. I hate it. Like it doesn't serve anything positive in my opinion. But
I agree.
I just when I looked at that, I was like, yo, me as a man would never even think if I would fight, never think hit another man in the balls that, cause I know how much that shit hurts. Like it's not a normal pain, dog. Like someone just flick you in your balls like this, and it debilitates a man immediately. Like it takes like maybe 4 to 5 seconds, and then you're just going down. So now, just imagine someone cutting off your balls or your dick, dog. Putting that fucking a blender.
Well, I assume the cutting off is probably where you'll feel the most pain. Once it's already off and in the blender,
Right.
it's just
Yeah,
like insult to injury type of thing.
it goes from physical pain to emotional pain. They can stitch that fuck back. Like if you cut off your dick, there's a chance you can freeze it and you can still get it maybe reattached or some fuck. But if they,
Depends what they use to cut it off with,
yeah,
though.
if it's really
Because
jagged,
if it was jagged or not sanitary, more than likely you're gonna get an infection.
yeah,
Also,
Although not really the point.
where did you specifically see this? The chopping off of one's genitals and blending it. Like I understand like the whole crazy retaliation type of thing, but this has not been a normal thing I've heard. I guess throughout the years, not
I
to this extent. So this cannot be a common thing.
I've heard like not blending, but the trend of chopping up dicks, like
But even that,
specifically in a certain region of this world, certain culture. I ain't gonna mention it. I from Aruba. They know which culture I talking about. Yo,
I don't know what
it's
you're
true.
talking about.
I've
I don't
heard
know
of it.
either.
Okay, it's the culture where if you fight with them, a machete just comes out randomly. It's
You
that.
mean all
It's
Caribbean
that's.
people?
No, 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 no,
You're talking about
no,
South
no.
American.
No, no, no. Kalista knows who we're talking about. There's.
I hear you, Woods, but I'm saying that I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
saying that
I see
I'm
what
like,
you're
that's
trying to do,
everybody on
but I
St.
don't wanna.
Martin.
I don't wanna. Okay.
I'm. We
In
talking
Nigga,
about one another.
I just looking for clarity for my personal self to understand what's going
All
on.
right.
I ain't
So
trying to do nothing.
let me clarify. From
okay.
what I've heard of, I've also seen this on like TV shows and stuff. I don't want to, say like I don't
Generalize.
really want to call out nobody, generalize or anything, but what from what I saw like post and the shows that I've seen it happen was Latin women.
Yeah.
Not saying that is all Latin women or this is like a normal thing, but like I also haven't seen it plenty of times. I saw one case on like ER, the Untold Stories of the ER, or something like that, and that person happened to be a Latin woman. That doesn't mean necessarily that all of them are here doing it. I don't know what Wood's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've only heard of this a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay. Me too. I've only heard of it a couple of times, but there's one constant in every couple of times. You go to see who did it. Just happened to be a Latin person. But regardless of that, like it's not even the happening, because we don't know if there was violence prior to her reacting that way. Like we don't know the context
Right.
of the story. Could
Yeah.
be that there's physical violence within that relationship,
Right.
which was normalized, and her reaction was just a reaction for what the man did. So we don't know
Yeah.
that. What really affected me more was how the women reacted to that
Ah.
video. Be like, yeah, like if it was me, I would do the same thing. And like, I looked at it in the perspective of a guy saying the same thing and how society would react to that. And because I'm like, look, I'm Mr. Vegan. I want equality not just for human beings but for animals and all that fuck like that. So I just feel uncomfortable when violence gets normalized to the point that we just glorifying harming people, even though they did fucked up shit. But everybody does fucked up shit. Like cheating is wrong, but that does not equate to you utilizing the man and
Woods,
putting it in a
I have
blender.
a question.
Yes.
I have a question. So, for the woman who has been hurt in this situation, what would you say is her, I guess, best course of action to take if she, like, in this thing? Do you suggest, okay, well, you was cheated on, just take it, break up with him, move on? Like, is
Like
it?
it really depends, because again, you don't know the context of like what the relationship with the girl was. It could be that maybe the man, like if the man was not someone that's physical, never hit her, never did anything, and he just cheated. And look, cheating is bad, I understand, but at the end of the day, like just because someone cheated on you does not mean you have the right to cut the man dick off. So if you get cheated
100%.
on, you could be depressed, you could yell, you can shout, you could do whatever you want, and then dip out. Because at the end of the day, when someone cheats on you, it's either you forgive the person, give the person another chance, or you say fuck it and you leave. That's the two options you have. I don't believe there's a third option where it's fighting, because fighting ain't gonna make the man uncheat you. If you hit the person, he still cheat on you. So you ain't fixing the problem. That's just making the problem worse. Because now, if you hit the man, there's a chance that the man go hit you back. And there's also sometimes they legit looking for that to make the problem even worse. But I'm not even going
Which is
into that.
exactly why I said that's why I cut off the penis and do it in a situation where you incapacitated, because I know in a straight up face to face confrontation the man has the advantage. There, that's why I'm a poison and
Yeah,
fist
Yeah.
some shit like that.
yeah. I mean, that's just the the thing that bothered me from that. But like I
Because
think
that's
we
one
did.
of the things you often see. Like in cases where the woman murders a man, it's usually a poisoning or something along those lines because it avoids that face to face type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Obviously, but it was just it was again it was just the girls reacting to that story that really
Yeah.
bothered
Okay,
me.
question. Question that pretty much if you're using violence in a situation that is bad. Because don't mistake my opinions from me trying to say that I agree with a woman cutting off a dude's dick and putting it in a blender or poisoning him or throwing acid on him or whatever. I don't agree with none of that. Just to be clear, 100% clear. But
Yeah,
I'm
you,
just saying I
that
understand where it comes from. So like
yeah
we all on that same page where it comes to like we understand that violence is not the answer type of thing.
yeah yeah. Like I understand it, and at the same time, I also like. Don't get me wrong. I understand when you feel betrayed and you distraught and you do something without thinking. Like I understand that aspect as well. So like I don't understand it, but it's just yeah. It's more like again for the person that did it and for the person that went through it, like yeah, that's that situation. But if you from the outside looking in, where you don't have that emotional attachment to it, and you then glorify it, that's where I have a more. Then that's where I get a little bit more critical because it's like you are now like you're preaching to the choir and saying like this is
Yeah.
normal. You understand? Because if
But
someone's just trying
w-
like what is normal and what is not normal is it's you can't say you were angry. Like if someone was angry and he behaved that way, maybe that's their normal. But that doesn't mean that you have
but
to. Okay, go
my
through.
question in that situation, I guess, would be: do you feel the same way, for example, when you see a Kevin Federline situation where there's a lot of men that were celebrating this guy because he's somebody that, against most situations, is one of the things where the man suffers terribly in the divorce type of settlement, his money situation to the woman. That's usually what it is. But as a result, with Kevin Federline and Britney Spears, there was a whole lot of men that was on Kevin Federline's case, cheering and supporting his behavior. Broke up with Britney, and as a result, he get millions and however much he was getting in alimony or whatever it was. When it's like you did the exact do and you kind of came up and won, so they had a lot of men supporting that. To me, that is kind of how I see this situation with women supporting this because it's something that we thought no woman could do or have the strength to do or get in a situation because there's mad women who get cheated on, who go through and feel the brunt of it and the sad thing and feel like, yo, there's nothing I could do about the situation. They just got the short end of the stick. So now they see a woman who got in that situation, handled it a different way, got her, I guess, revenge, if you want to call it that. Now it's like other women supporting because it's like, yo, I'm trying to live vicariously through you because you did what so many
Yeah,
other women didn't.
I think the difference with the Britney Spears example and this example is no one got hurt physically, and I think that's my cutoff point. Like if a man cheats on you, let's say like if a man cheats on you, you're married to a man and you break up with him and you get half his shit. Hey, he cheated on you. He got what he deserved. I have no problems with that. You understand? My cutoff point is when it goes from being just a
I get
relationship
that
thing.
point, but my question was, do you understand the sentiment
Yeah,
as
I
to like
understand it.
the
I understand it.
getting on board, is cheering for it when it's like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the act so much that you're cheering for, but it's more like, well, somebody on our team finally got a win, so it's like let's celebrate type of thing.
Yeah, but again,
Or
like the
OJ
celebration.
Simpson got proved innocent. Like black people supporting is like, do we support the fact that he's a murderer potentially, or do you support the fact that a black person was able to get away type of thing? Because lots of black people were celebrating OJ Simpson.
That is
So,
true. That is true. I think it's
and that's
just
a murder.
I yeah I get it, but it's yeah it's a tricky situation when you're hurting someone. I think that's just it. Like I get it, and I get cheering for it, but at the end of the day, you need to
Okay,
look at
so
what you're cheering for. Like
do you agree that it's just as problematic for the people cheering for OJ Simpson Federline then?
yes. If a person,
Okay.
if it's obvious that the person committed a crime, and he walking away scotch free for it, like doesn't matter what the situation is. If the situation is bad and it's obvious, and you're cheering for it, then it's at the end of the day still bad in my opinion. But
I mean, personally, we don't even know if she walking away scot free or not. It's just
obviously,
the fact that she boasted about it. However, like, okay, here's my position on the whole retaliation thing, right? No matter how foul I've been done in the past or whatever, I just feel as though, for me personally, retaliation ain't it for me. Either I leave or I decide to stay, but like, to me, in my opinion, it don't make sense to go cheat with somebody, like, cause you cheat on me, I gonna cheat on you. I feel like that's just going to breed toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna just end up going in a circle back and forth, and it's not going to be a healthy situation. And then also, if you do somebody any type of physical harm, if you going out to do something to your partner with a malicious intent, I feel like at that point, step away from the relationship. Like, that's my whole thing with this particular situation. Like,
I have a question for you as
in a
well, Kalisa,
relationship.
then. In
Alright.
in that situation, let's say you in a he cheats on, take the high road, you just be like, all right, cool, well, we done. You're in a relationship with another dude, he cheats on you, you be like, all right, cool, I take the high road, we done. You're in a relationship with a third dude, he cheats on you. It's like, pretty much, at what point do you think, okay, maybe you
I
might be
mean,
tired of that? Because I know
I
that may not be
understand.
your situation, but that is the situation for some women out there
Actually,
where, like,
actually, that is my situation.
hmm,
That is pretty much every experience that I have had.
by
Where even if I make it into like a relationship or we were just dating, it was never just me. And my problem with that is, even if me and you are dating, right? If it's not exclusive, there's no need for you to lie to me about a situation. And I've been in that type of situation where, or the person tell me it's exclusive and then it's not. Or like, I've been cheated on, so I understand, and quite a bit actually. And I've done both where I took the high road, like, I've left and I've also stayed. So I've done both. And be really honest about it. Like, I have stayed with somebody knowing that they cheated on me.
hmm.
And then you know what happened? They cheated again.
I mean, yeah,
So it's like,
And to me, that's just the kind of
what?
point I was coming to, where it's like, at what point does it be like, yo, I'm tired of losing
Listen,
everywhere they cheated on me. It's just like they getting away scot free, hurting me, and I just staying with the hurt.
look,
I understand that that could be the origin point as to why a woman reacts that way. I'm not saying her
what's
actions are
good?
justified. I'm saying
this is,
that comes
I
from.
understand what you're saying, because I've been at a point where I was like, by, you know, I'd be like, yo, forget men. I stay single, because I've been at the point where I was frustrated. Like, every single time I talk to somebody or something, it's always the same mess. And I'm like, seriously? But I think it's more of it's a situation where you have to reflect on yourself, in the sense that you need to know what's best for you. Like, you need to know what you're going to be able to live with. Because at the end of the day, you could go out and you could cheat on that person for revenge, but you're gonna never be comfortable in a relationship again. You're gonna never trust the person, even if you cheat. Now you went and add a next body on you, you feel dirty and slimy because you didn't really like that person. You did whatever you did to spite that person, and now you're not going to feel good about yourself either way. So why go through all of that? That's why I say you either stay, suck it up, or you leave. That's how I feel. And I'm not talking about only women, I'm talking about men. You either stay or you leave. Like, there's no need. It to me, it just doesn't make sense. I understand. Believe me, I've been there where I was like, yo, everyone I deal with gotta be like this. Like everyone gonna cheat. And you know what is pissing me off more than cheating? Is how you cheat. Like how you gonna just cheat dumb? Yo, how you gonna cheat dumb? What do you mean?
Man was responsible. Let the whole world know that.
You didn't even try.
Can you? Right? That's the type of fuck that piss me off, right? That is the type of thing that piss me off, right? How you got that? I feel like that's a major difference between men and women. Cause I feel like women cheat different. Like I just feel personally, I don't know a lot of women who cheat actually. So maybe I just wrong, or maybe they're not.
An interesting question though. Like not to cut you off, but you just mentioned something that maybe want to ask something. So like in your opinion, as somebody who's been cheated on, what do you feel like is the worst part about the cheating? Is it like the actual act of cheating, or the fact that it's like of like you said we is exclusive and we're not exclusive? Like is it actually the fact that he slept with somebody else, or the betrayal?
The betrayal, but kind of both, because the thing is, I can't mention what my major issue is without like airing out my laundry, so it's kind of tricky. But I've been in a situation where it's been both for me, because I just feel like if I've asked you 10,000 times, you know, is this you know, if we agreed upon something. And then, you know, I told you, you know, be upfront. If we're dating, why is it a problem for you to tell me the truth? Like, if you're not exclusive, just let me know. That's all you have to do. Like, you don't have to lie about it. But also, it is also like the sex, because truthfully, with my ex, for example, I found myself comparing myself to the other women, because I knew who they were. Well, I knew some of them. So he like, I had somebody cheat on me quite a bit. Like, I've had like different people actually. So, but
this has no relevance.
I've always been in a situation.
Was it a Ruby man? Or okay.
No.
No.
I mean, I only like I kind of date one partner, but I don't really.
It don't really matter. Continue.
No, I mean,
I was asking for the reason that like I've heard certain women express the necessarily see the issue so much if the man cheating and he doing it like on the, not to say that they encourage the men to cheat, but if he does cheat, like it's not the biggest deal breaker in the world. It's depending on like how it's done. For example, if you out there not using condoms and you bring home some disease to her,
that is a difference.
Or
oh
you get
my god,
some chick pregnant or something like that, or you just out there in public. So like I'm telling my parents and whatnot that this is my man, but he out in the street with XYZ type of thing. So it's a public embarrassment type of thing, where it's not so much about the fact that they actually cheated. It's like if you use the condom and it was undercover and you went somewhere like where it's not in public type of thing. Like I've heard women express opinions that if it's that type of a cheating, they'll be more inclined to take the person back and like, okay, let's work it out type of thing, versus if you on social media and it's a whole situation that you embarrass me type of thing. But
honestly, I agree.
Again, like I apologize, but
oh my god,
hold it no longer.
Okay.
So should we wait on you?
Take a break real quick.
All right, smaller break. Let's write down some notes, you know.
Yeah, I think maybe after this we could start talking about like, what we consider to be actually cheating, like where's the cutoff point.
I have that written down, boo, don't worry. But I want to address what King's saying.
And aside from that, I'd also like to know from the male's perspective, like, have y'all been cheated on, and like what was the worst part for y'all?
Yeah,
honestly, I have
100%.
I have never been cheated on, so I can't that I know of. Let me throw that in the air.
Because women
all my relationships, when it ended, it was just because I've never had a bad breakup. Let's just start with that. Like all my breakup was just like, yeah, this ain't working. Like it's better to just like stop it here. Like I never broke up with someone in a negative sense. Like I still have a good relationship with all my exes. So I like even if the relationship ended in a bad way, quote unquote bad way, in terms of like we had a fight or something like that, like we still talked about the fight. Like I don't let a relationship end without us discussing what went wrong and at least trying to figure out like what can we do to at least make the moments that we have not be for naught. You understand? So like all of my exes I still communicate with, I still talk to. Like it's not like like they got children, like I talk with them at least. Like I don't have a bad breakup.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that. So I can't talk about being
Actually,
cheated on, and I've never cheated on my girlfriend as well, so I can't talk about that either.
actually, funny enough, I actually have a good relationship with anybody I ever talk to, like in that capacity. I still like cool with them, even though we're not together. It's just like it was too much. But to answer what you were saying, King, I agree with what you were saying actually, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that factor into it, but it's definitely partially like the embarrassment, because that's I've felt that a lot before, because it was like, for me, when I experienced it, it was public. So anyone who knew us knew what was going on. And it was like, it was crazy, because I've been in multiple situations where I was the last to know, you know? And that's
rough.
It's kind of messed up. But I understand women who are like, you know, we could still work it out if whatever happened behind closed doors. Problem is, if you're in a relationship and everybody know y'all together, and then everyone knows your man is cheating on you, what happens is now you kind of forced into a corner where everyone want to give you their opinion, you know, and it's kind of like now it's public knowledge. So if you stay with the person, how people perceive you has now changed. You understand? Because you don't want to be perceived as like weak or like you're sucker, you dumb, you gullible, all this stuff.
Like,
and I think that's the major difference between how someone cheats on you. And I definitely agree to a certain extent, like for sure, that it depends on how the person cheats on you also. But again, this is my point. Why are you why cheat public? Like, I don't understand, because every time I got cheated on, I knew, like I already had the feeling, and I didn't. It later got confirmed, but like, even need a confirmation, because they was cheating so dumb. Like, it was just like, and it also begs the question, if you cheated on me so blatantly, do you have any type of consideration for my feeling? Exactly. Do you care about me if you're going to cheat on me, like in front of everyone we know? You know, it's very.
To answer,
so at that point, walk away.
Your question,
go through words.
To answer your question, like if someone does something in such a brazen way that they know what they're doing is going to get caught, like they did not care about you.
They didn't care.
Like that's the answer to that. And also, like when it comes to man, like we dumb dog. Like I
wouldn't say that.
No. Let me explain what I mean with we dumb. Like I used to work in a party bus in the Caribbean, and the amount of like people used to act like whatever happens in the bus stays in the bus. Meanwhile, the Caribbean's small, right? So if one person that knows your significant other see what you did on the bus, that person has a best friend. That person has a best friend, and eventually everybody knows on the island what you did. So I never understood why you would do mad dog shit on a party bus, knowing that everybody can see you. My only answer to that is we have a fucking penis there. They have a mind of it. That's the only thing.
Yo, I don't understand.
Ban alcohol.
Cause
that's the thing. Yeah, so I feel like that's the thing that I've observed the difference between like men and women. For example, I've seen guys go out who I know are in a relationship, and I've also been with people who go out and would cheat in front of mutual friends. You understand? We have the same group of friends, right? And you gonna go out to the club with our mutual friends, and then do your dirt,
To me,
and then assume that he's not gonna get back to him.
That is easily explainable in a scenario depending on who the mutual friends are. For example, if I am
They're
going
his friends.
out my friends and they happen to know my woman, but they're my friends first type of thing, their loyalty is to me. And if it's guys in particular, it's like the chances of being on guy code and snitching to the woman about he cheat is like, I'm just saying, I can't speak on all groups of male friends.
It depends on the friend, though.
It depends on the
like
friend.
Your girlfriend, like, cause like then
That's it, because I have had
right?
that.
You have layers, because they have a
I have
friend
had that.
likes your girlfriend, and he
Mm-hmm.
wants
My
to
main
both of you
point-
to break up. So then
My
he's
main
going to be
point
like,
is
he's gonna be the instigator. He's gonna be like, yo, yeah, cheat, dog, do it,
my main
dog,
point is where does
Okay, wait.
the loyalty lie? That
Exactly.
dude saying that type of thing,
You're
that
correct.
dude is not your friend.
Yup.
If it's one of your actual friends, my friend's loyalty lies to me, not my woman, even if they may know my woman.
Yeah,
And
but
I've
in the
That
seen the same things
But
where a dude, like a girl that one
Let
of
him
my
finish.
friends is with, is talking to me about their issues, and I'm like, girl, this is the stupidest thing you could ever be doing. I'm never gonna snitch
Right.
on this dude in favor of you. My loyalty lies to my friend.
Yeah.
You're his. By proxy, because you're with my friend, I am cool with you, and we have some sort of a relationship. But my loyalty is with my, not you.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Like I'm talking about mutual friends, because I've had a situation where the person, like, I've had a person go out with a group of their friends, but also my friends. So I wasn't part of the group, but like both our friends were there. You understand? So it wasn't just. So it's kind of like, that's very blatant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in those situations, that's why I disagree with Woods on the bumness thing, and I'm not saying that's for all cases. That certainly is the case for some situations of cheating and whatnot. To me, it's more of a lack of caring, I guess. Not to say about the chick in particular. It's just we more reckless, and it's not to say we're dumb and doing it because we're gonna get caught. We just don't necessarily care about the getting caught type of thing as much. So it's a lack of
Not
caring
thinking
about
the
getting caught.
consequence.
Yeah, but
Basically.
I also think about the age, because okay, you have man that older than me that wilding the fuck out, even at
This
like
is true.
29, 30 years old, like 31, like they wilding the fuck out like they're 21. Like the only advice I would give all the young people listening to this right now, like if you dating someone and you're really young, like don't go into the mindset that this is going to last forever, and
Yeah.
like, cause you're really young, and especially with guys, I don't want to give young guys a scapegoat to be cheaters and stuff like that. But when a guy is like 20 to 21, 18, 19, like they ain't thinking about being loyal. Only thing they're thinking about
It's true.
is slanging meat. If they
I'm
were,
giving a lie.
if
A certain part. Go through Woods. My
I
bad.
mean, when a group of young boys hang out, especially when puberty hits. What they talking about? Other than like, it's like 20% nerd shit. Cause when you're young, boys are just nerds in general.
Not all,
20%.
man.
Yeah,
I don't think you have to speak for all of that.
nerds are something. Like
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
Not just nerdy shit, but just nerd for something. And the rest is just, yeah, you see what the girl had on that day, but boy, yeah, you see that, the girl got ass, yeah. That's the conversation that they having. Cause fucking hormones them kicking in, they feeling things they never felt before, and the penis be standing randomly for no fucking reason. And it's just
Like,
telling them to fuck. And that's all they're thinking about, dog.
to
Legit.
piggyback off of what I was saying, like, I certainly do recall a point in time when this might sound, I guess, somewhat arrogant, but I kind of discovered that I was, at least to some degree, attractive to females. Like, because for a long time growing up in my youth, like, the thought that I could be attractive to, or like that the girls was actually interested in me, it was the furthest thing from my mind. And then at a certain point, like, puberty hit and girls became a thing, and I kind of discovered that there was some girls who thought I was cute and thing, and all of that shit just went to your head in a certain way, and you just kind of, you've never gotten attention from females before. It's all new to you. You just kind of wild, like, to turn down, because as a male you're not conditioned to turn down vagina, for example. Like, this, but at least the ones from my age group who I was socialized around and stuff, is like, you're not conditioned to say no. Like, vagina is the goal. You supposed, in teenage times, you get social currency for being the dude that gets a lot of girls and all of these types of things
You get encouraged to do
amongst
it.
your
Yeah.
guy friends. So yeah, you with one chick, another chick come your way and showing you vibes and stuff, is like, you don't have nothing societally, even internally, and those are things you don't develop until you fuck up and do the wrong thing and make the wrong decision and hurt some females and see the repercussions of your actions, unless you had somebody
Hopefully.
to guide you to avoid all of that.
Hopefully, because we have some
I
people that never
didn't
get out
have
of
no, yeah,
Yeah.
I never had no male role model that was older to guide me and show me about this. If you could be a hoe, but this is what comes with a lifestyle of being with hoe, these some of the downsides and whatnot, is only until you encourage it and see that as a man you have certain, you was socialized to learn how to get the pussy but not to keep the pussy, and that just made it like you learn things about lying and presenting a different side of you, the potential to sleep with you and whatnot, not necessarily thinking about the long term of this type of behavior. When it's like, if you are this way and you lie and you like deceive a girl, now you're actually with her, now you gotta, is recreating a whole character because you was a whole different person to get this person. Like, it's only until you do these repercussions that you learn, all right, well, this is not the way to go about interacting with females and all of these things. So it's a difficult thing, not to provide an excuse for men out there, but it's just men and women are socialized differently.
That is true.
Yeah.
And like, especially like, this is going to go in a very weird direction for a quick, still relevant to what we're talking about right now. Like, when a guy realized, this is going really weird for a second. When a guy realizes
Jesus.
what cum is, like just ejaculating for the first time. Don't look at me the wrong way, Kalissa. Just let me explain.
Just continue.
When a guy realizes what ejaculation is by himself and that feeling, and then looking at videos and stuff online, and then listening to hip hop, rap, all of these things that talk about this interaction in a certain type of way, and then expecting a certain group of people to react differently to what's portrayed into, like, yeah, like, get as many hoes as possible and stuff like that. Like, okay, let me just say, I was never one of those guys due to the fact that I was in a long relationship in the beginning, but at the same time I was surrounded by friends that like just slang dick everywhere, and they were legit just. They didn't even look at it in a wrong way. In their minds, it was just like, yeah, man, I already fucked
It
that. I'm
is.
gonna fuck something else. Like it was just. It was for them. It was just the norm, and
Woods, question.
Here's
Would you say your father had a role to play in that? Like when you think about you and
oh,
your personal
interesting.
situation and your upbringing, would you say that
He
your
did.
friends who was out there slanging dick, did they have a father in the household?
a lot of them
Because
did. A lot of them did not. But at the same time, I'm not appropriating. I'm not. No. I'm not gonna say that my father had. He had a role, but he didn't have as much of a role as my mother. Cause my mother who used to be the one that like used to tell me like, Joel, like if you're going into a relationship with a girl, like don't break up, don't think about her feelings, don't just do stuff without thinking about how she would feel about it. Like my mom would always talk about certain things with her, and I would when when my mom would talk about stuff that how girls feel, I would take that more to heart because it's my mother telling me she a female. So if there's someone that knows how a female thinks, it's my mom because she a female. So I will take that more to heart. Like my father, like my father would be the one that would actually be encouraging me in the wrong way. He would be like, he would be like the more machismo-ish type of, not that he would encourage it, but he would be like, Joel, I see you walking around with that thing. Like, you did anything yet? You do it yet? Like just playing around. But
It don't really be that.
but it was honestly my mom that put it more into an emotional side that maybe okay, like I have to, like, if my mom told me, Joel, if you feel that you want to cheat, then you need to just break up with the girl. Because
you
if
see,
you
but
want
like
to cheat,
That's how I
then
feel.
at
to
that
me,
point,
it still kind of comes down to a similar thing. I get where you're coming from, and that is more came from your mother, but to me, it still kind of comes down to the same, I guess, point that in my mind, I situation, I kind of put it asking specifically, like, was it attributed to your father? Because in my situation, that wasn't he wasn't live. So for me and my friends, it was like, and most of my friends is similar situation to me, whereas like the father is not most of these dudes. So it's basically a bunch of dudes with no kind of guidance, no male to tell them like, yo, this is the real, this is not the real. If you do it, to hear it from a
but
woman,
then
because
again,
that
but
that's
then
the
But
other thing.
but the thing is,
it,
was your mother
In my
telling you this though?
situation, because that's what I was just gonna get to. Like in my situation, relationships, I was advice for a lot of people. It's like figure it out type of thing. Like women don't know how to socialize young boys, so it's like for a lot of single mothers out there, they just don't have those conversations talking about relationships and sex and all of these things, which was the case for me. So if it not happen at home, I'm left to go talk to my dudes, my boys on the block and whatnot,
Makes
and we
sense.
all the same age. We all lost because none of us ain't got a father in the household or a decent male role model. Like the closest thing, like I ain't gonna talk about it on here, but they had their own set of issues regarding why the couple male role models we had at that time was super problematic. But there was no positive influence, so it's just like go experience it, trial and error, figure this thing out on your own type of thing. There's nobody pointing you in the right direction. And the few friends that I had that used to kind of think outside of the group think mentality of like, okay, all of this problematic behavior is just the norm. The few of those friends were the ones with a father in the house. Like they had mother and father together. They saw a healthy relationship. They knew kind of what to model after, and they knew to avoid all the nonsense like and everything else in society is telling you is like that's the way to go.
I think I think we're maybe like just looking at my household, like the way the house was set up. Like my dad would be the person where I would go to for like just sex advice in general because he a man, like he knows,
Mm.
like he has sex, he's a man. So I would go, like I wouldn't even ask my mom for advice. My mom would just, cause like when I was in a relationship for the first time, like my mom just gave me advice about how women think, and like I need to, cause like I'm an introverted person, so like I could just be in my room by myself, not call anybody, and just be lost for days. And my mom told me like, yo, like if you're in a relationship, you need to keep in mind that now you're in a relationship, so you need to keep in contact with the girl, like at least message her, ask her how day was, blah blah blah. You know. So my mom was more of the think about the emotions. My dad was more of the use protection. And together, I had a somewhat. Because if it was.
And
If
that still provides a good basis because, like, you still had two for different sense of information to give you a little bit more of guidance on like how to correctly address this whole thing of relation women and all that versus when it's just left in a vacuum and there's nobody to turn to really because a mother is kind of unsure about the sexual stuff. So, and I am not going to my mother to reveal about the sexual stuff and ask about masturbation and like my dick is getting a
Oh
heart attack because of
no.
this conversation with my mother. So
yo, you want to hear a funny story? Hold on, let me finish. Let finish what you're saying. Then I go.
Oh no.
Yeah. You done, or should I go?
go through.
Okay. So my mother would always, my mother would always be like complaining, be like, Joel, why are you in the bathroom for so long? What are you doing? And then you would hear my
Oh
father in the
no.
background, leave the boy alone. Yo,
So you
but
the
that's
father in the
funny.
household.
Yeah. That's like when you think back about it, it's like, yeah, like obviously the mom would not know like what the boy doing in the bathroom for so long, but then the father comes in be like, yo, just leave the boy. The
Basically.
man growing up. Yeah. But yeah. Fun times.
I have a slight
Anyways,
different kind of question to pivot. I don't know if unless Kalissa you had something you wanted to add.
yeah, I kind of wanted to add something on what you were saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think again with this whole accountability thing, I think that men do have to start being more accountable. Alongside, like women don't take accountability for a lot of their actions, but like men, I feel like they don't take accountability when they're being disingenuous about their intentions, and then also they don't take accountability for drama within a relationship, especially if they were the root of the drama. For example, them being disingenuous from the beginning of the relationship, knowing that they didn't really wanted a relationship, they wanted to hit and quit, but they like a thing that only want a relationship, so they're gonna play the role for a bit, and then when the situation turned messy, it is turned into yeah, you like a bunch of drama, you like this and that, and then it's like again that's what I mean the whole accountability thing. I feel like in that circumstance, you definitely should take accountability for your actions because I mean, you basically caused the situation to be like that, and then it has turned into oh this chick crazy, and I mean if you do something crazy, then that's different. However, I feel like a lot of girls get labeled as crazy
Mm-hmm.
because they don't like the situation. Not necessarily that they do something crazy, just that they're arguing with a person over like their actions,
Mm-hmm.
and then fellas will be like, "Yo, that chick crazy," or talking down about her for
Yeah.
no reason when you were the problem in the situation, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Like
hear we agree. Although I will say one thing where I feel that women agree that other women are crazy. I'm not saying in every scenario that they are, but women know that other women, like y'all know what it is that y'all go through. And this is not to try to gaslight and say that y'all emotions and everything is just fabricated and come out of nowhere type of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
there are mad scenarios where that doing what it need to do, but a woman brain just gone to the hypotheticals and stuff like that, and she just in a world that is no longer reality, and she actually creating a whole ad certain, like I get the point where you saying, Kalissa, that there are certain times where the dude is accountable, but that is also one of those subjective things in a sense where that from a woman's perspective that she is doing to preserve the relationship, that to make things go a certain way, but in the man's mind there is some of that going on as well. I'm not saying Like oftentimes it's a miscommunication similar to like a love language thing where it's somebody is placing value on one thing that I don't place value of. Like for example, you every day I come home from work, if you my woman, you cooking for me or something and doing these type of things. But if I don't put value on cooking for me as like a show of affection or something, I'm just thinking that is normal and she's now feeling unappreciated because of that. Because there's and I might be buying all the groceries or something like that, and that in my mind is like my showing of love, but there she feels like neglected. Like there's a lot of things where subjectivity plays a role, and it all depends on what do people put importance on.
That's why
Hold up.
you
I feel
need
like these things
to.
Hold
need
up.
to be
Wait. Actually, I
communicated.
want.
Yes, yes.
Wait. I want to say something because I feel like I wasn't clear in what I said. I said maybe I said that they're being disingenuous with the intentions. I'm specifically talking about
Hmm.
guys
Hmm.
who
And
will
that's what I say,
chase
and that's
girls
the
and get,
two-way
but I'm
commitment.
talking about specifically, no, I'm talking about specifically when you give the girl the illusion that it is a monogamous situation when it's not. So if you telling me that it's exclusive
Hmm.
and then I find out that you messing with this one, that one, the next one,
In that situation,
and
you
then I confront you. That's specifically what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about in a broader sense. I'm talking about specifically in that sense because I know,
Mhm.
like
And
I've
in that situation, I
personally
agree.
been in this situation, and I also know a lot of girls who have been in that situation where I do want to turn around and gaslight you, tell you, oh, you like drama, you like this and that. But when I asking you questions, you gonna lie to me, and then when you get caught, it's like, oh, you like drama, you like
But
shit.
oftentimes in those situations, though, at least speaking somewhat from experience, there is a difference where it's like you think you're being specific because again, in your mind, you done going a couple layers deeper, but what actually was communicated, or you asked certain questions and got certain answers and derived. Not saying in a situation like what you specifically asked, are we exclusive? There are situations where assumptions are made and there's like leaning towards or similar questions are asked, but not that type of question specifically.
No,
And women themselves kind of to assume, okay,
okay.
well, we're exclusive. That's why I say I agree with your situation, and you're completely justified
All
in
right.
that situation. Where if you specifically ask, like, are we exclusive, and then you find out we're not completely justified in that scenario. But
That's why
Okay.
communication.
In my specific, okay, in my specific situation, as in a situation where this actually happened multiple times. Well, in the beginning, we agreed, like we it was a discussion. We're not quite in a relationship yet. We're building towards it, but it was specified that it is exclusive between you and me, and it was also discussed if anything should happen with somebody else, it should be discussed. Like we be open in a situation. If you have this type of interaction with this person, bring it forward, like let the other person know. And then also there were multiple times during um like I had a feeling something was off, like just certain things that I was seeing and stuff like that. I was like, and I asked several times, am I the only one you're messing with? Am I the only one you're talking to? Am I, like, specific questions? Are you sleeping with anyone else? The answer was no. And then I later found out that was not true. So that's
Yeah,
what I mean when I specifically ask you a question like that. Because I don't like to beat around the bush. Like, tell me A, B, and C, done. Like, it don't have to be unclear. Why,
and
like,
that's why
why
I
are we
say
making
in that
assumptions?
situation you're justified.
yeah. When it's specifically that, then yeah, like in
The
a
only
I
thing
feel
I
like
could
too
try
many
to
people
before
say,
you
being
go into a
healthy
relationship,
is.
I find like before you go into a relationship, you have to have this conversation with your significant future significant other, and the conversation needs to be basically, okay, what is our relationship contract? basically. Not that you're signing it, but what do you expect from me, and what do I expect from you? And from
That
there,
leads to
100%.
that leads me to a great question. Kind of wanted to ask, like, in between emotional and, because this is something we also had on the docket, like physical versus emotional
I
cheating.
was right about
Is
to
there
bring it
a
up.
difference? Is there a response or the feeling of betrayal if somebody's emotionally cheating on you? And I guess kind of before we get there, just a question to the panel, to everybody in general, like, what is your definition of cheating?
here's the thing, right? Because then you have to bring in culture, and it's a wide thing. Because if you would look at it from an
Your
islander,
definition,
no, no,
not
no.
general. I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
no,
you,
no,
bro.
not generalizing. So your
My
specific definition of
my
cheating, what
definition
do
of
you consider
cheating
cheating to be?
cheating is when you willingly let someone, or you specifically, approach someone with the intention of having some type of emotional and physical intercourse that is not with your significant other. So when
Ricky.
it when yeah, let, I'll explain
Just
later
get
on.
everybody's opinions first, and then get into the details. But in what
Uh,
definition of cheating?
for me, physical intercourse.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
Kalisa.
For me, physical. It not doesn't necessarily have to be intercourse, but I would say like anything sexual, or if you was doing it with the intent of having intercourse with the person. So if y'all fool around but y'all get interrupted, like I feel like that's cheating.
Because for me, like
Physical.
my definition to me is just violating whatever agreement you and your partner made. Like, to me, that is the definition,
Yeah,
because it's
Fair
not
enough. Fair
about
enough.
physical, it's not about emotional necessarily. It all depends on
on the contract.
whatever whatever you and
This
your significant other came to and decided, okay, we're exclusive, and exclusive means XYZ. If violating what that XYZ is, you cheat.
Okay,
If you
but
know, or
okay,
even
I
to
agree.
summarize it, to say it more simply, if you know that your significant other was doing the same behavior you're doing, and you would feel a way about
You
it,
would get
then, or
go
you're
ahead,
pretty
please.
close to it.
Yeah,
You might not be cheating all the way directly, but you're pretty close to it. If you had to switch the scenario, and you would feel a way.
but at the same time, then you also have culture that comes into play, because certain things in certain cultures would be
Time to play.
considered
Culture
as
depends on you and your significant
no.
other.
Yes,
Again,
no.
you should discuss this beforehand.
Yeah, but there's certain things you would not discuss if you're not in the same culture.
Like
You
that.
get
Okay, yeah, that I agree with. That I
because
agree with.
because like certain things would be normal within, for example, the Caribbean culture, but then in Europe, if you're doing something that would be not considered specifically cheating here, but then here, yeah, then you have that problem. So where I'm going with this, basically, so in the Caribbean, especially if you grow up in a Latin influenced culture, basically, like dancing with a girl would not specifically mean that you're
This
cheating.
is true.
So
Yeah.
if I'm dancing bachata, merengue, salsa, bailable with a girl that's not my girlfriend, does not automatically mean I'm cheating. Same thing,
Right.
like if like here's how deep it goes. Like in Aruba specifically, like you could go to a bailable party with your girlfriend, and your girlfriend can go
100%.
and dance with another guy, and you dance with another girl, but that's just dancing. There is no emotion attached to it.
Okay.
But you
They're just
flip
like
it around and you come here to the Netherlands, where if a girl wants to dance with a guy, that means that that girl is already interested in that guy. Whereas in the Caribbean, if you just grinding up on a girl, does not mean that the girl is interested in you. She's just dancing with you.
I feel you. I feel you.
And that's where the culture comes into play as well. Like
100%.
there's a lot of things
True.
that we would consider not to be cheating, but then another culture would be like, no, that's cheating. So culture is a really big role if you have a different culture relationship. But that's it. Oh,
I get what you're saying,
Calissa,
but
you there?
it's still. I think Kalissa might have dropped out.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I get what you're saying, Woods. But it still kind of comes back down to central test of girlfriend discuss
Mm-hmm.
or significant. It's like if y'all haven't discussed that, then you're in somewhat of a gray area. Plus, it can be like once y'all discuss it, you get her. You get back in, it's like, how do you feel about dancing? Is dancing crossing a boundary, or is that going too far? Like to me, once y'all have to, like, it still kind of comes right down to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just like because certain like if the both of you come from the same culture, then it's easier to have that conversation because then
Yeah.
everybody's on the same page
100%.
basically of what
Yeah.
we know and what we consider to be a certain thing. But if you already have if you already have like a basis of what you consider cheating, but then someone else has a very completely different basis, then it's harder to make a contract between the both of you talking about what is and what is not acceptable until it happens. You
Mm.
understand? So then you can address it when it happens, because then it's like, yo, I didn't like this. And then you could have a conversation of, oh, but here, like in my way I come from, like that's not considered. And then you could have that
Yeah.
conversation. But if until that doesn't happen, especially if you come from different cultures, different values, and all this stuff like that, like you can't really make a good contract if you come from Pluto and Mars. You understand? If you both come from Mars, then we can have a contract that makes 100% sense because we know basically what we're going to encounter in terms of our culture and stuff like that. So I think that's the big
Okay.
difference. And
Yeah.
for
So
those that didn't
second,
follow, I'm
I
in
guess
a
question.
okay. I just want to clarify. I'm in a different cultural relationship. If for those that didn't follow, why I'm talking about this right now.
Yeah, that relationship contract thing is very important, I think, because that really solidifies what exactly counts as cheating, what doesn't, and it makes it very clear. Instead of if you don't make that clear from the jump, you definitely gonna have those gray areas to where it would have to happen first before you can, decide with the other person whether or not it was okay in the first place.
Yeah, like even flirting, cause like flirting is like a whole different type of thing because you have in certain cultures, especially Latin culture, that flirting is for a lot of people a normal thing.
Mm.
Flirting is how some people just talk. Like it's not that they're exactly trying to get anything off of you, but that's the normal state of mind. Like they make flirty type of jokes. There's this playfulness within the culture, you understand? Like mi negrito or stuff like that. Like this it's there's no really no bad intent in it, but it's just a very playful nature of being. So if even
Yeah.
even if you're in a relationship and I have to because it's I'm relating to myself, like I would consider flirting not to be cheating if depending on what the situation
I
is.
I agree.
Because if I'm like in my profession, I'm a DJ, so I'm forced to be very social in general. So if a girl comes, for example, comes to me and be like, "Yeah, you're playing really good, blah 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 blah. I like what you got on," and I'd be like, "Yeah, you're looking good tonight. I like the dress you have on, stuff like that." That is flirting. You're already flirting, but there's not a flirting with an intent of cheating. But for
My
some
question
people,
is the
just
rule the
have
Yeah.
same for your woman?
sorry.
Is the rule the same for your woman? Like if she
Yes.
is flirting
Okay.
and engaging
Yes.
in the
Like
same.
in for me, I don't have a problem, especially look, because it depends also what you're doing for a living, right? So if you work in a bar, you're a bartender, you are also part of the experience within the club. So if you a bartender and a guy is talking with you, for example, and you talk with him, you flirting, you flirting playfully, not like flirting. Yeah, I'm going to like I'm going to suck your dick and stuff like that. That's not flirting anymore. That's like that's legit. Like I want to have sex with you. There is no in between. There's no gray area anymore. That's specific. But if you're just flirting, like just having a good time, laughing, drinking, I have no problem with that. Like, I am not, like, again, for me, I am not a jealous person. Like, I am not the type of guy that is going to, if my girlfriend goes out, for example, I will not call her and ask her where she is, what she's doing, with who she's with. I'm not the type of guy. Like, I encourage my girlfriend to go out. And if she's flirting with a guy, I have no problem with it. Only thing is, like, because I know how the nightlife is, I would hope that she's with good friends that protect her if a guy tries to invade her boundaries and make her feel uncomfortable and grope her and stuff like that. Because I'm in the nightlife. I know how guys is in the club, especially when they're drinking. So when the only thing that I ask is who you going out with, because that's a very important question to ask. Not even your girlfriend, just if it's one of your best friends and stuff like that, you need to know who these people going out with to give them some type of advice or something to watch out for. But I don't believe in being in a relationship and then also being very controlling and possessive and treating because at the end of the day, your girlfriend, your boyfriend is not a possession. They are just a attachment to your life. They are not your possession. So if your girlfriend wants to go out, if your boyfriend wants to go out with their friends and not including you for maybe that night, they should be allowed to do it, because at the end of the day, they have their private life, and a girl's night out and a boy's night out are two very different things, and they need to happen for the relationship to be healthy. Because my belief is, you need to miss your girlfriend or your wife or whatever to enjoy be around her. If you're around your girlfriend 24/7, y'all have nothing to talk about, because y'all experiencing the same fucking thing every single day. But that's just me.
Okay, another question. So, I guess this one is more for the dudes, but Kalissa, you're welcome to chime in as well. But I just asked this because guys look at emotional cheating the same way. So for the Woods and Rashid, would you would you ever feel a way if your girl was emotionally cheating on you, or is there even something you pay attention to?
The thing
Okay.
is, what do you
Or is it only physical that you really come?
Before I can even answer that, explain to me exactly this emotional cheating thing,
Yes,
because that's the thing I have
Yes.
the most difficulty
You have a
understanding.
definition for us?
Sorry?
Kalissa,
Sorry?
you got a definition for us?
I would say it is I would say it's when your partner looking for emotional fulfillment from someone else.
So sharing your private secrets and somebody to confide in and those type of
Yeah.
things.
But what?
Isn't that
But
a
it's
best friend?
odd. But here's that's
Exactly
the thing that's odd, because honestly, I heard people talking about emotional cheating, right? And people is always saying like, yeah, women is talk about emotional cheating and stuff like that. But it's very odd to me, because I've never experienced girls talking about emotional cheating. Because guys don't cheat emotionally; they cheat physically. Women are the ones who would cheat emotionally. And then, I just experience. Well, from my experience, I would say that men would really trip more over a girl, like, let's say, talking to somebody, so talking to the opposite sex, more than I feel like a girl would trip over a guy talking to his friend or whatever.
I think
That's in my experience then.
yeah, I've noticed when
think
it
that
comes
difference.
to just talking about relationships in general, guys would talk about, if a guy would have sex with a girl, for example, that's not his girlfriend, guys will talk about that in detail, clear detail, to the T. Whereas a girl would not talk about a guy that she randomly have sex with her female friends. But girls are way more open to talk about their boyfriends, just their relationship in general. Guys don't do that. Guys when they have a girlfriend, they don't talk about their relationship with the other friends. They just say, yo
This is
guys,
true.
this is my girlfriend. And then the hint is, don't even think about touching this girl. She my girlfriend.
This is true. However, when we talking about emotional cheating, not talking about the same sex. So girls, I feel like when we what you talking about right now is talking about the relationship. However, if I talking about my relationship, I chatting with my female friend. I'm not chatting with a male friend about it. You understand? I think with this whole emotional cheating is more so this DM culture type thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what people be talking about. And that's why you're saying I've experienced more guys being jealous of like people hitting me up over like nothing, even though you can clearly see I'm not entertaining the conversation, then I've been upset about a girl messaging
Yeah.
my significant other. But that's my personal experience.
I think it's
So
also that
To
because
me,
it also depends on like
most
your it depends on your mental state as well, because
I mean,
you have certain people like I really like I really don't care who texts my girlfriend, because I see in all those texts I laugh. I don't feel any type of way who texted my girlfriend. You understand? The only thing I see in is the person that you really is, basically. I don't feel a type of way because I trust the person that I'm in a relationship with. And this is something that like a lot of people I think don't get. Like, if you're in a relationship with someone that you don't trust for them to make their own judgment in a relationship, then why are you in a relationship with this person to begin with? Because
Woods, I would ask you a question. Do you think there's ever a scenario where you're going through something in your relationship that you feel like you might, for example, it's you have an issue with something that your girlfriend is doing, something she does that frustrates you or whatever. So it's something that you want to talk about, but you're not really sure how to bring it up to your girlfriend. Therefore, you like go to somebody else to talk about your frustrations or your problems or whatever it might be you're going through.
no, because here's the thing with that. Like, I make it a point to, if there's anything that frustrates me, I just talk to my girlfriend about it immediately, because at the end of the day, it's a relationship between me and her. It's the same thing if like, and this is something that happened in my household. Like, when my mother did something that I don't agree with, I address my mother, because the only way I'm even like, it could be that I'm wrong, but the only way that we're going to address the situation is if I talk with the person that's affecting me directly. So if my girlfriend does something that I don't like, I don't then just leave it there and go to my friend and complain about it. I'm going to talk with her about it. Now, if I cannot have that open conversation with my girlfriend about what's affecting me personally, then we need to talk about if we can still be in a relationship to begin with. Because when I
But
do something,
let me
okay,
kind of provide a little input to the situation. Like, something happened, you addressed it already, you talk about it. The same thing happened again, you addressed it, maybe you talk about it. Okay, now is in a third situation, it's present. Because to me, these is normally the type of things where people is like, okay, so how do I talk about this now? Because I've already addressed it. And let's say, like, because there's certain situations where depending on what your issues are with somebody, you get in a situation where you feel like everything I do is wrong because, especially in a situation where you're living together. Let's put that in there as well. So you're sharing a space type of thing. You got to get used to each other's habits and quirks and whatever weird things that people do. So something bothers you, you address it. Something bothers you, it happened again, you address it. Now it's like third or maybe fourth time that this thing is happening, and you're now thinking to yourself, do I talk to this person again, or do I like you're trying to figure out how to remedy the situation because you already talked about it type of thing. So it's like in that situation, I could understand you potentially seeking or just being like, okay, I'm gonna talk to one of my friends and be like, yo, this is the situation I'm in. I don't know how to handle it because I already addressed it. I already speak and I don't want to sound like, yo, everything is a problem, but we want to address the issue.
I get what you're saying, and again, maybe it's just because I'm the person that I am. Like I'm annoying to the point that I always tell my girlfriend, yo, if there's something that's bothering you, let me know. Don't stay without telling me, because the last thing I want when I'm in a relationship is a surprise. Even though, like, I know, like, there's certain things I know I'm bad at. Like, if you, like, let's open the book. Woods is the worst conversational guy on the phone. I hate my phone. I have my phone, but I don't like my phone. I like my phone for stuff other than calling. I like my phone because it's a quick access to internet. That's why I like my phone. So when someone texts me on WhatsApp and stuff like that, it takes me a while to even look at WhatsApp to begin with, because that's when my introvertedness kicks in. And it's like, yo, I don't want to be in a long conversation and all of this type of stuff. So that's that. But at the same time, because I know what my faults are, for example, I make it to the point to make sure that my girlfriend is comfortable enough to address, even when I know what my fault is, to address me to it. Because then I'm going to make a more conscious effort to fix it. But if you don't address it multiple times, then I thinking that you cool with it. So then what happens eventually, that when you complaining to someone else but not complaining to me, then when let's say, like, this is the cup and the sink was dropping water in it, and then all of a sudden it popped, and you're angry at me and you're yelling and you're like, yeah, you always do this, you always do that, but you don't address the problem, then it's coming out of nowhere for the person being addressed too. You understand? So instead of you letting it build up, I like always complain. Because if you complain, we can talk about it, we can try to fix it. Because we humans, and we have habits that we can't just change like that. Some habits takes years to fix. But the only way it's going to be fixed if we talk about it, address it, keep the person up to date about, you still doing this, you still doing that. Like, you need to have that open conversation, because in a relationship, the only thing you have that's valued is having an honest conversation with your girlfriend, your significant other. And outside of just relationships, like with your mother, with your father, the only way you can, like, feel like be in a good relationship with your parents is if you're open with your parents to talk everything about it. Like, because the moment you go to someone else, like, then your parents also is going to not be able to address any problems that you have, because you're not open enough to explain what's going on in your life right now. So when something happens and you do something crazy, then you hear the parents be like, but we don't understand why this kid do this, because this never came up before. And I think that's a similar situation with being in a relationship.
I hear your point,
Yeah.
and I agree
I
to
have
some degree. It's just difficult. Like, we are, like, in an ideal
It's
scenario, I
really
feel what you're
difficult. It's
saying
really difficult.
it is.
is like that's the ideal, but in reality, I just feel like there's mad times people don't address shit because, especially in a situation where you're living with people type of situation, so you want me to tell you, is like, so are you a child or am I talking to an adult? Whereas, like, I need to repeat myself 17 times before you get the message. Or if I am constantly, no, I become the bad person because I'm the nagging person, nagging wife or husband,
Yeah.
if I am
Like,
constantly telling you about whatever it is. Because so then you're just going to
100%.
internalize it. At some point, there's going to be a blow up, because it's like, well,
Exactly.
there's been all this shit that I let slide under the rug because I let other shit slide, you letting shit slide, because we both had this conversation already. I don't feel like repeating the same conversation 15 times before you understand.
I understand that, and it it, it 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 is an issue, but I think it's just at the end of the day, like, you need to understand that like,
Because I agree
when you
with your
open
point.
up
I
your
get
life,
that.
yeah, when you
The
open
only
up,
way you can make change is through talking to the person that actually have the issue with. I do agree with that point. It's just in reality actually engaging and like executing that behavior just becomes a lot more
Yeah.
complicated.
yeah, it also depends on, like,
Yeah.
the person at
So
the end of the day, and if they really want to change, because like,
Let's go
that's
ahead.
the thing.
exactly.
Oh,
I was just about to ask. So I have two questions actually.
mm-hmm.
So Number one, what do you do if you're with a person that's not inclined to talk, to tell you what's wrong? And then like number two, what do you do if you're the only one that communicating the issues, and then like King said, and then at a certain point the person will tell you, well, it seemed like I can't do nothing right, or something along those lines, that the person feel like you're nagging them all the time. Because honest to God, like I've been in situations where nobody has like communicated anything to me. Like they ain't tell me nothing about my behavior, nothing that I'm doing wrong, and it's to the point where I ask, like, is there anything? Is there a problem? Like that's how I am. Like, and I always reinforce it. Like, if there's something wrong, please tell me, bring it to my attention. Like, I don't like you just shutting down. Please bring it to my attention. Just tell me. And then I never
I
hear
have those
anything.
times.
The thing,
So,
the thing with that is, and here's like the problem with relationships in general is if you have someone that's not open enough to just tell you everything, then that's already a problem. Because now you're in a relationship where one person is open and spreading feelings and explaining everything and letting the person know exactly how they feel. But if the other person is not open and receptive to do the same thing, could be because the way the person grew up, he was very the person was just very sheltered and didn't want to, is not accustomed to explaining and expressing themselves. Not even explaining, just being open in the sense of talking about what they value and what they don't value. Then it's going to be a problem to just address small things. Because if a person is affected emotionally for something, then they're going to shut off because they're not accustomed to talking about anything. So it again, it depends on the person and what type of emotional baggage they carry. Because if you're going in a relationship with someone, you need to evaluate where this person is currently mentally. Because that's very important. Like, before you go into a relationship with somebody, you need to get to know the person and evaluate, like, okay, this person has gone to these type of things and they have a certain baggage, and then you have to evaluate how much of the baggage you want to carry in this relationship. Like, cause nobody in a relationship is equal mentally. Like, everybody has certain problems, and some people have more problems than the other person. So you need to evaluate at the end of the day, like, am I in at a certain point in my life that I can handle the emotional weight that this person is going to bring into my life? And that's something you have to evaluate at the end of the day. It's the same thing with having kids. Like, when you have a kid, you need to evaluate, am I currently in a position that I could handle the emotional weight that will be thrown onto me due to having an extra person in my life? And that's basically it. You need to evaluate to see, is this person willing? That's something hard to figure out. Is this person willing to change? Is this person showing that they want to change? And by proxy of all of that, is it worth it for me to go in a relationship with this person? If all of those questions are yes, then go in a relationship with a person. If this person is not showing that they're willing or trying at least to change, then you have to evaluate even going in a relationship with this person to begin with. I find a lot of people go into a relationship with people without evaluating where they are, where the person that's, let's just say, you are mentally, before you even consider going with someone else in a relationship. Because people are looking for love and companionship and all of that, but at the same time, mentally, they're not ready to have that. And then they go into a relationship with other people that are mentally not ready to even be in a relationship because they have certain problems that they have to figure out. It's not an easy situation. It's not easy to find out. Even if you think you know a person, you only know the person when you really in a lengthy relationship with a person. I still am learning new stuff in my current relationship, and my significant other is also learning new stuff about me. I'm learning new stuff that I didn't know of myself that she's bringing forth. You understand? So it's really relationships in general, not just with a girlfriend but with
to bring it
friends.
back
It's very difficult. It's very difficult.
to bring it back kind of like
What to
to
say?
the central question, like, so have y'all ever, well, based on the conversation, I'm assuming so y'all have never emotionally cheated or been emotionally cheated on.
And then I come back to, what do you consider to be emotionally
Oh,
cheating?
Jesus words.
Yeah, no, I understand,
Like
but
like I
because
said, that's the whole
so
confiding in other people.
from
You
in
go
my
into
relationship,
somebody else for us maybe and getting the same.
no, I don't want to
I mean,
act like I didn't
okay.
listen, but I just wanted to say, for in context, I have to use my relationship currently as an example. Um, so I would say that in my current relationship, like, prior to having the conversation, talking with a fan or whatnot would be considered me cheating. But then when you have the conversation, then you explain your point of view, then it's not. But at the time, it was. So if I have to answer your question, then prior to me having that conversation, I did emotionally cheat for my significant other. You understand what I'm saying?
True. Rashid?
I don't believe I have, and I don't believe it's happened to me. No, but it's still like
You talk
I,
about it
I
with your significant other. That's a question.
You
what
know what the thing is? It's very hard to define emotionally cheating, and that's
that's
my
the
whole
thing
thing because
because
I don't necessarily believe in it.
Hmm.
So it's like it's kind of hard for me to say. Like, but honest to God, I've
So Calista,
I've
let me ask
never
this
Okay,
though.
hold on 1 second.
entertained.
I'm gonna pull
I've
a king.
let me
I'm
put
going to
it
take
this
a.
way.
I'm going
I
to take
have
a piss real quick.
Yeah, do you think? Do you
all
think?
right. So me personally, I've never done anything like entertained anyone or talked to anyone in a way that I would have been like upset about if my significant other had done it. Do you understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So that's basically my whole stance.
And I'm basically asking, like, so if, like you say, you don't really believe that emotional cheating like is a thing, but is it a bother to you, for example, if you find out that your significant other was telling like some great news happened in his life or something like that, and he's sharing it with somebody else before you and stuff, some things like that, like that wouldn't bother you in a way?
No.
Hmm. Interesting.
I've actually had it. The thing is, look, the way I feel about the situation is whether you talking to me or you talking to somebody else, like that's not that important to me. I feel like that's a very egotistical way of looking at things sometimes because if this person just need to express something to someone and they feel like they can't express it to you but they want to be healthy and mentally stable and they need to talk to this other person, why I gonna be upset because you talked to this person and you didn't talk to me? I mean, if it pertains to me to a certain extent, I feel like you should bring it up with me. But if it's something going on with your life, just as long as you mentally stable and you take care of it, I mean, that don't really you could talk to who you want to talk to. I mean, it's different if you're talking to this person cause you want you want hit it, you know, like you
Because
trying
to me,
to.
that is also kind of like the emotional cheating as well. It's like you haven't done anything wrong. You haven't like kissed her or you haven't fucked her, nothing like that. But you out here kind of laying seeds and planting seeds to like potentially maybe have some kind of a relationship develop. Like, is a consistent. Y'all have very personal conversations or y'all be flirting and stuff like that as well. To
mm,
me, that is the emotional cheating where it's like, yeah, you might not be fucking this person, but it's almost like a relationship on the side type of thing.
Yeah, But if that's the thing. If your intentions, it depends on your intentions, because I feel like if you just sharing news with somebody because this person is your friend and you want to share news with them, that's different than if you're sharing news with somebody you're flirting with. That's different. Like, so I never done that, but I can't really speak for anybody I've been with, because like I said, whatever. I sure they had to lay seeds for them to end up doing the physical, but I know
Mhm.
about the physical. I don't know who you was flirting with or whatever. Like,
Okay, okay. So I
however,
think we
I
kind of
will.
go
Oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say, I will say, like, I have had people cheat on me with supposed like best friends type situation.
And
Mm,
that's
And
where I
that's why I'm
want to.
saying that. But
Mm.
it's always, but I'm my bestie.
Yeah,
That one
that's
really
and
talk
to
about my
me,
That,
bestie.
that'll
where
be
I
some
go
says
of the
into.
emotional cheating that I'm talking about. Whereas, like, you know that there's a relationship, there's like a lot of personal information
History.
potentially
Yeah.
shared between these two people, but it's like
I understand.
supposedly it's just a friend thing. It's like nothing physical happened. Is like,
Doesn't mean
is
it's
that
just a friend.
cheating or is that just
But
like
I mean,
then you being disingenuous with your intentions. You know why? Because you can't tell me somebody is purely platonic or purely your best friend, then turn around and have sex with them the next day. Like, you're not being honest with me or yourself. And in which case, then you are like you are crossing a certain boundary. But like, if that is, you can't have a best friend. Like, people have best friends. It's just
of
the
opposite
people who
gender.
just end up cheating. Yeah, people who end up cheating with their best friends, that wasn't their best
best
friends.
friend, that
And then later on
was
down
the
the
fuck
road,
buddy.
and yeah, and then afterwards, after they have sex with that person, or they ain't best friends no more. They ain't or they don't hang out anymore. It wasn't your best friend.
Yeah, like,
And that's what I mean, they're being disingenuous.
yeah, because like if there's a lot of friends that, especially when it comes to, and this is a sad, it's sad, like there's a lot of female, just no, just women that have male friends that think that the guys are just legit friends, but the guys have hidden intentions and they're just like scouting and waiting for the opportunity to strike when the
something
time
that
is right. Um, and I'm not saying this just guys. There's similar situations for girls as well that they're friends with a guy, but they're friends
yeah, but there's a
just waiting. But
difference
this,
in the delusion obliviousness to it. Like there's certain men,
It's
in my
true.
opinion, certainly tend to be more aware or like honest with it.
This
Like
is true.
women in a woman's friend, like none of her male friends want to sleep with her in the female's mind.
yeah, and
When it's like, just ask the question, you'll hear the answer real quick, and all of your like,
No,
you will not hear it.
honestly,
You will
I
not
have
hear it.
male. I have discussed this. Like, I have male friends
you
who
ask if
want
you
to
as a
sleep with
female
me.
ask
I was
if
like
you as
about
a
to say,
female ask your male friends, so it's like if there ever was a situation where I was coming on to use like in a situation like that, the amount of yeses you gonna hear from your male friends as a female, it's like I've tested this theory with some of my female friends and told them specifically, ask this question to some of the male, and they start afterwards like, oh, so you was into me, so you would sleep with me? I didn't know this, like, and they completely shocked and they changed their perspective of their male friends, and it's like,
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think.
I think that's you just being naive, because honestly, I know which one of my male friends would sleep with me given a shot. But I feel like they talk to me in a different way. And again, I feel like this is, you need to know what type of relationship you have. Like, for example, if this person who you're telling all your business to, or like you just go to and talk to, if you can't answer that person phone call in my presence, then something's wrong. Like, if somebody who I just talked to, if I can't pick up the phone when you're around because I worried about what this person will say, something is wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I have maybe like uh, honestly, if I'm being really honest with you, I have maybe one male friend that wouldn't sleep with me. Like what that I really close with. Like I don't have like a lot of male friends that I super close with. I have one male friend that I really close with, and we've actually had this discussion because we just so cool that it would just be weird.
Fuck up the vibe.
Like we've had this discussion.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he used to like before we got really close, he used to want to, but then like after we became so close that he was like, nah, I would never. Like you just like it got other girls that I would, and he does legit talk to me about his conquests at times.
In my experience, situations like that, it usually result in there being a technicality somewhere involved. I'm not saying it can be genuine that he doesn't,
Red
but my
card.
experience, like when it comes to dudes, the reason I'm friends with a particular female is because there's something about you that I like. The fact that I want to repeatedly engage in conversations with you and actually tell you stuff and get to know you on this deeper level, chances are there's something about you that I like. Meaning your opinions on things, your energy, your personality, your sense of humor, something about you I like. Usually why I approach you, because again, normally in these situations, it's generalizing, I know, but usually men initiate some kind of a contact with a woman. And part of the reason there is, again, because I see something I like. So I decide, oh, you have a man? All right, cool. So I know now we're friends because what I wanted out of this, or what I was curious about, that can't happen. We can't have no kind of physical or sexual relationship, let's say, or
Yeah,
things like that.
I I understand what you're saying. Like the my particular situation is a friend that I met in like high school, so we've been friends since high school. And the initially what happened was the only time he wanted to sleep with me was like when like Woods was saying, when you like in the hyper horny phase and you just want F down everything. He had like I remember like us being friends and he just like that was all that was on his mind, and I remember that phase, and then like he was over it and he was like, it's not the move for me. So after that, like it was never
And
even
to me,
like
I feel like usually those situations are with male and female friendships. It was made clear to the male usually that, well, I guess we're not gonna have that type of a relationship. Like
I
in
think
that
it.
period, I'm sure at some point you might have made it clear to him, like, well, you cool, we good as friends. I'm not really seeing you that way. Or maybe he never brought it up, and it was just like
no,
he
this
had
was
no
this was
attraction to
like
you.
it was actually like open dialogue,
Hmm.
basically. Like he had told me like,
Open dialogue in
at
what
the
way though?
time. No, he had told me like at the time that like he was he just wanted like because I think may have I think he was a virgin and he was
Hmm.
like, yeah, he just want he want to see what it's like. And I think that's how the whole thing came about. And then after that year, like years later, we had a conversation. Like he brought it up. He was like, "Yo, I cannot believe that that was actually a thought in my mind." And he was like, "I literally could not imagine sleeping with you." And I was like, "Thanks." Like I like that, but it was like, but I was like, same, because we literally is not even like, I don't know how to explain. It's kind of like we two peas in a pod, but like in the weird way. Like you ever have like a friend that just weird in the same way as you weird,
Yeah. Like
and it's like you can't really find the weirdness anywhere else. That friend, we like we weird on the same level, and we just come together,
I
and
hear
it's
you.
literally
In
like
my mind, as a
chat like
man, I
girls.
just can't think. I just can't think of any man that would be in that.
Oh, hold up,
Like
hold up.
maybe
I
this is
feel
me
like
projecting
let me
my
say
I
something.
feel
masculine thoughts.
hold up. I feel like this might be a factor. I sorry for if you happen to be watching, but this particular friend of mine is Caucasian. I don't know if that factor in. Like he have like different cultural background. So do you think that factors into it? Because like he not his parents Dutch. Well, his father at least. Like he just the way he views relationships, what I notice is different than how I do and most of my friends do.
I think
So
I think that could play a role, obviously, because like you conquer your values from your parents and stuff like that. You take that and then you build upon it or you destroy it. I don't know, but um, when it comes to like having like a opposite sex best friend, like it really depends on like honestly where your mindset is at the time. Cause if it was like if I met any girl after my first breakup, Woods, young Woods, just became a DJ, working at a radio Cool FM at the time, that Woods, like no girls that I met in that time period I wasn't even thinking about being friends with. That I was attracted to. Let's say that. Because you're in a different mind state. I think it really depends on where your mind is at a certain point. Because now, especially now, when I meet people in general, I don't automatically go to the mind state of, yo, this girl, yeah, I'm gonna fuck her. Like, that's not, or I planning to, or I want to. It's more of, hi, my name is Woods, blah, blah, blah. Cool. I've passed that point in my life. So I really think it's the age of the person plays a big role. Where they at mentally, what are their goals in life? Like all of that plays a role. I'm not even talking about now that I'm in a relationship.
And to me, some of that is like the technicality that I'm talking about.
yeah.
I'm
But I
not
just
always the case, but usually there's a technicality which is like one person like the other in a male female. One person made it clear to the other one that there's no real vibe there, so there's not something. So as a result, I'm fine with just I accept my role in the friend zone type of thing because there's not gonna be any like what do I want? Do I want to lose this person out of my life completely, or do I want to like push for the sex type of thing or
Let
try
me
to get it to go in that
yo,
relationship
let
when
me
I
that's
bring
not
in.
think
the
Let me
vibe
bring
it
in.
is.
Can I?
honestly, yo, don't get me wrong. I know how the situation should sound, and that's why I say is I only legitimately have one friend that I feel like it never like it would just never happen. Not I mean on both ends. Like I think I have
Maybe
a lot
I'm
of
just
friends who
completely
would,
cynical,
but
but I just don't believe friendship are like genuine, that nobody is attracted to anybody. Like, unless there's some kind of like, if single
But
male and female friends and y'all
but
really
like
close
no, no, no.
friends,
But here's
I,
the thing. I have
but like let me
friends that I
explain.
find attract. Okay, hold on. Let's go here for a second. I have friends that I find attractive, but that does not mean that I specifically want to be in a relationship with them or that I want
I
to
ain't saying
have
a
sex with
relationship.
them.
I ain't saying you
No,
will
but
fuck them.
because
And
here's the
fucking in
thing.
a
Like
relationship, two very different things.
no, because you could be attractive to someone by their personality, by the way they looks, but that comes into friendships. Like even
And
like
I'm saying if this person
let's go to the
presented you
male
the
side of it for a second.
opportunity, then most times out of yes, you would take it, but it's not a scenario that's never gonna present itself for most dudes and their female friends, or at some point it was male friend is in a relationship, or me the male is in a relationship, or somewhere along the line throughout our friendship
But
we
that's
we
not.
had that conversation to see
I
do you
mean,
like me
But
or do I like
I
you, and
honestly
it's clear and
I
established
get
that nobody, therefore now we're friends.
I
Doesn't
get
mean
what
at
you're
some
saying.
point there wasn't attraction from one side. Otherwise, why are they friends?
yeah,
If you
yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
nothing
no,
about
no,
this
but
person, why are you
I
friends?
agree.
I get what you're saying.
I
But
agree with you.
what I'm saying is attraction doesn't automatically mean that you wanted to have sex with a person. Because I could flip it around and say that the reason why I chose to do a certain class in audio design, for example, because I was attracted to the teacher, the male teacher, and I have no, the attraction does not mean that I'm sexually attracted to the person, but in terms of just intellect wise and the way the man presented himself, the way he did his speeches, all of that attracted me to his class. So when I'm talking about attraction, attraction doesn't automatically mean that you're sexually attracted to a person, but you could just be attracted in terms of the vibe
And
that
that
the person
is
is saying.
exactly my argument you're presenting. You
Yeah,
given a situation where you're
but that no,
attracted to
but that doesn't mean
somebody,
that
but there's
if
a
she's single doesn't
technicality
mean
that
no,
stops you from anything because this is a
no,
man, this is a teacher,
no.
so
But
you're not
what
looking
I
at it in
no,
none of that type of
that
ways.
Let him
why
But
finish.
had this
Let him
have been a
finish. What?
woman, had this have been a woman in a friendship type of scenario, that is a different type of attraction where it's not going to be, oh, well, this is a man, so let me not be attracted or let me not think about, this person has these traits that I like. They might be intelligent. They might, using the same example you give of this male teacher, a female could have these same traits, but it's
yes.
not going to come in your mind as to think, oh, well, let me not go or let me not even imagine a sexuality thing because this is obviously a same sex person with a woman that has these same exact traits. There's that possibility where it's like, she has all these traits that I like. What would it be like if I slept with her? I'm not saying you definitely necessarily as a result going to talk to her in that way to try to sleep with her, but the thought is going to cross your mind. There's going to be some point where you kind of evaluating this attraction and being like, she has these qualities, but she doesn't look the way I like, or she has these qualities, but she has a man, or she has these qualities, but
Yeah, but that
she's
is,
long distance, she in
but
another country or something, like
now
whatever the technicality can
you're
be.
now you're being more specific with the technicality, because in the beginning
Y'all
you
was
said
interrupting me, not letting me explain the technicality.
this is prior to prior to you expanding to it. You said the technicality was she was in a relationship, and then I was saying was the
Usually, I said
technicality.
usually, that's the
Yeah,
technicality.
but that does not mean that you're sexually attracted to someone. There's just something that you
So why do you
attract to the
talk to
person.
this person on a daily basis? Like if you're best friends with somebody, if you're close friends with somebody,
Yeah.
why are you talking to this person you don't like? Why do you have this level
No,
of
but
closeness
that's
to
no, but
somebody
that
you
no,
don't like?
but that's what I'm saying. Now that you're expanded on the technicality, I agree. But if
That
the
was the
technicality,
situation the whole
no,
time.
but
Talking
that's
with a situation, looking at a
no,
really close friend, a best
no. But
friend, somebody
he
you
was
talk to about
sexually
all kind of
attracted to her in the
things.
beginning. That's what we basing it on. But what I was saying is the attraction is not just could it could be something other than just being sexual. It could just be intellectual. It could be something else. So I could be friends with someone not because in the opposite set, not because I wanted to have sex with her, because maybe we had something mutual that we agree on. Similar to how I could be friends with a guy because I love music. If I'm talking to a girl in my class and she loves music, I love music, we have something we mutually agree on, we can expound upon that friendship. Does not mean now that I want to have sex with her. It just means on an emotional level, we agree on something that we can expand on. Does not mean I
I
want to
agree
have
with
sex
that.
with that girl.
I
So
agree with that statement, Woods.
that's the only thing that I wanted to expound upon that. But if you
But
expanded
now
it,
let me ask this question. You have that person that you have this relationship and this bond over music with. You're single. She is single. You already have this established link. Do you not think it is very likely that in getting to know each other, in
it
you're shaking your head no,
depends.
all right.
No, it depends. It depends. Again, it really depends on how do you value that relationship. I have come into
Did I not say that
situations.
at some point this question is going to come up where it's like, okay, somebody makes it clear I'm not into you or you're not into
No,
me,
it's not.
so
It's not
therefore I
even.
decide that I value the friendship more, so I'm not going to pursue you in a sexual way, so we just gonna be friends
Yeah,
as a
but
default because
yeah,
there's
but
a
if you
technicality where I can't
No, but
be with
King,
you in a relation. I value the friendship, and I'm afraid that if I go into that territory, the friendship is going to falter as a result of it.
obviously, but if you going to put it in a very specific situation where you're forcing me now to think about it in that way, I am going to think about it. But
Okay.
but if it's just this is the lane where this person is in, and I'm like, if you have to go into in terms of attraction body wise and stuff like that, and then I'm just not even thinking in that vibe, then that would never happen because there's multiple things you look at when you're
Is she
attracted to
ugly?
someone. No, not ugly,
That's a
but it's just
technicality.
no, it's
You
no, no,
bond
no,
with this
no, no.
person, but she don't fit the X other things that you want.
That you
Therefore,
personally,
technicality.
yeah, but yeah, obviously,
So
but
what are
there's
we arguing, Woods? You
no,
saying the
we
we're
same
not.
said
thing
Woods.
I'm
No,
saying.
we're not arguing. All I'm saying is when you
You're
have
saying the same thing I'm
no,
saying.
because the whole no King. This whole thing started with when you have a best friend ish thing with someone from the different sex, you think about having sex with that person.
Mhm.
And I'm saying that's not usually the case because there's different factors into you thinking who you have sex with. There's a lot
Moderator,
of
what you
people.
think?
No, there's a lot of people you could look at. You
This
could look at.
conversation, this back and forth been going on for a while. Moderator, this is your job. Solve it.
Like
Do you
I
think we should
just
move on? Are we actually, is there
y'all
an
I
actual
the
exchange
thing
happening
is
here, or are we saying the same
I
thing?
tell what's listen for a minute there, but like to be honest with you, it sound like are you saying the same thing? But at this point it's just like yeah, I don't know why are you going back and forth, but
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. You could
the
look
the
at a
little bit
person.
the little bit of tension is what our viewers want to see, so I was letting it play out for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay, I'm just gonna. I'm
Feel
just
like
gonna.
they want a little spice in their life. They want to see the people butt heads a bit.
I'm just gonna say this. You can go into a club, look at a girl, and a girl can go into a club, look at a guy, and she can make a decision, and he can make a decision at that point if she gonna fuck the person, yes or no, just based on attraction alone. Based on that alone. So
Okay.
if
Guys, don't go out and do that.
no,
STDs are real.
no, I'm just saying like that thought crosses a person's mind just on looks alone. So
Yeah.
if we now take that same mind state and you
Yo,
put it into friends, like you just know by looking at
on a
somebody.
lighter note,
Yeah.
to move on, since you brought that upwards, I've actually never had that.
We damn near 2
That's
hours
gonna
in.
sound really strange. I've never. Oh, we should probably wrap it up. But I
I was going to ask that at some point, like if, somebody do
Yo,
a time
but
check
because
before
I wasn't sure what time we started.
No, we almost 2 hours in.
Ooh, this is gonna be rough.
I told you this
Well,
conversation.
we already
I
here.
told you this conversation
We
was
already
gonna
here.
be hard.
So let's finish your point, and then
Yeah.
this could be like the last thing we.
Yeah.
I was going to say this might be a bit odd, but I've never really experienced a moment when like I saw somebody and was like, "Ooh, I gonna try and sleep with it." Like I've never had that. Like not initially, only after getting to know somebody. I've never been like initially like attracted to you based on looks, like I want to be with you type situation. I've
I
only
wouldn't
ever
say it's
had that after
necessarily that.
getting
Like,
to
to
know
me-
someone.
To me, that's not necessarily how it happens. But I feel like what they're more saying is, from time you see dude, you know that if he come talk to you, how you gonna respond and be like, well, do I want to entertain this
Yes.
conversation or
Yes.
not?
Yes.
Certainly is something that women know from first time they see a nigga. It's like, oh, you look like this. I do not. Defenses already up, or they down because I don't know you. I don't know if I like you, but you look like the type that I would be interested in getting to know further.
Exactly.
So it's
You
like,
see,
it might
that's
not
what I
be
mean, like-
giving this dude the panties now, but you never
But-
was in the club and was like, oh, well,
I've never had
if
initial
that dude there on the
attraction.
corner, if that dude
I've
come try dance
never-
behind me, like nah,
Like dancing
or
is
but if
different.
that
I've
dude
never
come-
given out my phone number at the club. I've never given out my phone number. Like y'all been out with me. Y'all ever see me talk to a dude? Like, well, what's then?
I mean, yeah, but
I mean,
but
no, but
Not-
it's not just
not-
that. Like, I never had. I've I've never like had like somebody who I meet and out of the blue like had like initial attraction like and
Yeah,
was like,
not,
you know, you look like
but
my type.
in
I
his
always
defense, I've always like someone that's already been in, like, that she knew. Like, it's not someone that she
exactly
met that day. But if you're going to ask
no
me a specific question in a club, then I'll be like, yeah, was it someone you knew, but he happened to be in the club at that time?
what?
Huh?
Anyways,
You ask me
Like
if I ever see you talk with
me.
someone in the club, and then if I have to answer
I
truthfully,
mean,
then I have to say yes because
flirt.
I've seen you talk with someone in the
Like
club.
flirt?
Not,
You mean like regular talk or like?
I mean,
Cause
just I don't know if you're flirting or not. Like, I'm not like putting my aim
yo,
in the
you
conversation.
just mean like talking well.
Yeah, talking
I
with
mean,
the opposite sex in the club, having
well,
fun.
I like legitimately everybody. I end up talking to whatever was somebody who like I was already like initially around. So
But
it wasn't
but
like
that's what I said.
somebody
That's what I said.
and it was is like the attraction kind of built after I started talking to the person.
That's the healthy way.
This sounds really bad.
Like,
This
honestly,
this sounds really
like
bad.
after I break up, like after my first relationship, when I break up,
Just
I had that mind state of like, yeah, that girl hot. Because I think
if
it's
any
that-
of y'all watching, I'm not saying that y'all ugly or nothing, just so you know. Like that's not what I'm saying.
Yes, she
I
is.
wasn't saying
She's
wasn't
saying
saying
you're
that your
ugly.
personality had to make
I
up
have
for
a
She's
slightly
nothing.
saying
random
you're
question.
ugly. That's what she said.
So, like,
King
That's
got a
not what
question.
happened.
King
not
got a
to
To my
cut you
question.
off,
ex. To my ex.
but I wanted to ask, like, the dudes. Well,
Rashid.
I guess kind of Rashid is to my knowledge. I guess kind of, but like I was just wondering, have y'all ever been cheated on? Because we know like Calissa has been cheated on. Like she kind of was very open about
I actually asked this
situation.
earlier on, but is when you went to the bathroom. But no, I've never been cheated on, nor have I ever cheated on anybody.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
And what said he hasn't?
I have never.
Have you?
How about you, King?
Been cheated on or cheated?
Both.
Both.
Because both dances, yes, but
Why? Then why you just say yes? Why you ask for clarification?
listen, I gotta find out what specifically I'm admitting to or not. I just try to feel like
Both are yes.
don't matter. That don't mean I ain't looking for clarification.
Anyways, yeah, I think it's time to wrap.
up.
No, add that to our mark. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, save some of the conversation for the next time, or
yeah, for
Hey,
sure. Like
mess.
we gonna have infidelity part 2 by the looks of it.
Oh
There's
Jesus.
way more stuff we
With
can talk
Kana.
about when it comes to this. Yeah, especially with Kana.
Yeah,
God knows what this man has.
there's entire elements of the conversation that we didn't touch on that I wanted to bring up, and I'm just tease it slightly. We're not gonna get into it now, but I just wanted to get some of y'all views on open relationships as a result, because I feel like cheating, cheating, and I was leaning to that direction. That's why I was asking Calissa the question, like, you know, the physical versus the emotional, and like the embarrassment and stuff like that. Would y'all ever be able to like deal with an open? If you can deal with it, if there's no embarrassment, there's no humiliation, those types of things are out of the way. Would an open relationship then be like, oh, where my brain was going with some of the questions? But you know, that's a deeper conversation for another time.
Next time for that.
That could be a topic.
All right, so I
upon
think it's
itself.
time for plugs.
Maybe we could
Sure.
get a poly guest on.
Hey, that's true.
Y'all know it?
I don't
You know
know.
anybody?
Well, the thing is, it's hard to know who's really in an open relationship. First of all, cause like who
you know
promotes
anybody
that?
who listen?
Who promotes like I'm in an open
I know somebody
relationship?
who was, but I don't know about the. I don't know if they want. But I know
That's
somebody
the
who
thing.
was in a
Afterwards.
polyamorous
Let me wrap up,
relationship.
y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah, for real,
Yeah.
for real.
I know people that are
Plugs,
open
plugs.
to it, but I don't know people that's currently in it. But my plug, okay,
Plug.
let's start with me. So for those that don't know, I'm live streaming on the 10th of July. No, the 10th of June this month, and also the 10th of July. But for now, the 10th of June, we're going to go a little bit back in time, into the 90s, the early 200s, the 2000s. I mean, play some R&B, some hip hop, all black music, because we representing the pride, you know, and it's going to be a vibe. We're going to bring you all back to the time where everything was good, because right now everything is shitty, but we gonna make it good for you. When the time when Rona was not there, when Nelly was still bombing, when Chingy was still playing his tunes, you know, it's that time we gonna bring you back in. So if you want to feel that vibe,
June 10th.
come true. June 10th, Woods the Chosen in the building, you don't know. Peace. By the way, that's my radio voice. By the way, that's the radio voice back in the day. Yeah, Woods the Chosen.
Shut up.
Alright.
Yo.
Like I always say on a regular basis, make sure to stream the Mistuh King LP, which is out now on all streaming services, whatever your preferred streaming platform is. It's there and available for y'all to stream, as well as I kind of working on the next thing. I've put it down for a long time, but I kind of been getting back into the music a little bit. Like last night I was recording. So Woods, I'm gonna send you the track because it's the song that you had sent me the beat to. So I'm gonna send you the finished version of it, let you hear what it is. But this is like me kind of working on the second. I thinking on dropping an EP this year, maybe like not a full project, but I drop a project of 12 songs. So I'm thinking maybe do like 6 or 7 or something. Put something else out quick at some point later this year. So be on the lookout for that.
Exciting.
Any other plugs?
Nah, I got no plugs.
Well, maybe not for you, but maybe someone you know that you want shout out.
No, not at the moment.
Kalissa?
King,
No.
Woods, they got plugs.
Anyone you want?
What going on with
anyone you want
Mello?
shout out? What going on with Jim Mello, Rashid?
Oh shit. Y'all remember when Gilda say he lose his like laptop crash?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
saw you
yeah.
post pictures of the new one.
Yeah, he get a new laptop, but he wasn't able to recover his shit. So
Oh shit.
That rough bud.
Oh shit. No, that rough.
Alright.
Dog. Okay.
So I guess the plug was that he got a new laptop.
yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Kalissa, anything to
You
plug?
get back to work
Maybe any Arubian artist you want to shout out? Something they're doing good or something like that.
Oh,
What Denzel saying?
can't think of any. But I need to check with him. I think he had put up something there sometime.
Okay,
don't
we
know.
gonna check
I'm
out
sorry.
next time.
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna plug myself.
Hey.
Check me out June 21st, my birthday. Okay, done.
Just follow Kalissa on
don't.
Instagram. Just
No. Just send me.
and give her a
Alright,
present.
so I
Give her a
think
present on PayPal.
I think the plugs.
Yeah,
I think
it,
that's all that
it,
needs to
it.
be said. Pre-birthday to call her around and make sure you follow her so you can tell her happy birthday and all of them ones.
Hey.
But other than that, I guess we'll see y'all the next time we link up, Woods.
Hey, that was it. And till the next time, people, peace the fuck out.
Later.
Mm-hmm.